Welcome guys to a new League of Legends video. Today we're looking at Pantheon in the top lane mainly, but you can play it as jungle and mid lane. It's a really cool pick right now because he's pretty aggressive and most laners are really squishy and they can sustain up to defeat Pantheon. And Pantheon is like a noob trap because if you don't know how to play against him, you'll die. And I've said a lot of laners I go against just go playing AFK. I can. It's really powerful if you continue harassing your laner and he doesn't play safe enough. So let's start with his abilities. So first of all, we have his passive, a pretty strong dueling passive and laning passive, where after four basic attacks or abilities, Pantheon gains a shield. This shield blocks every basic attack and tower shots. So this is pretty much the thing that lets you do this high damage build, because with Pantheon you don't want to go tank, you can want to go full damage and just insta kill, insta burst everyone. This ability is really useful if someone tries to trade with you, because if they do, you have a lot of burst early game. If they are auto attack based, their most top laners actually are. They will not get. They will not do a really successful trade, and they will lose the trade 100%, because you'll just stun them and QM and eat them, and it's really pretty easy to do it. So and mid lane, you know, you can just protect from some basic attack that may just throw at you. Pretty useful. And in the jungle, you block some of the monster. The large monster you block their out attack, so it's pretty useful for that. So you'll have a good advantage in lane. Then we have his Q, where Pantheon just throws his spear and do massive damage. This scales insanely hard with AD, so that's why we should go heavy AD, and this ability can actually crit. So it's pretty insane, but it doesn't scale like with crit like Static Shift, because it's not doesn't apply on hit effects, but it has to do with further passive we'll talk about. So then we have his W, the Edges of Zionia. He basically jumps to someone and he stuns them, and he gains his passive. So if someone attacks you, auto attacks you, destroys your shield, you throw your W, you learn another shield, and you stun them. So it's pretty unique and pretty useful. It's skilled with AP, but this ability you just use for trading and earn your shield and just stun them. It's really useful for the lockdown and to make sure you hit your E. There comes next. So I'll start with the active of the E, because he has the passive. There's like pretty good. So first with the active, he just throws a bunch of spears and pierce everything, and he removes some. He does some damage. Some AD damage is quite high, but early game is not that good. But and he removes a massive amount of armor. So you first should use your E, then your Q. So you remove armor, then use your key. It's good for wave clear, but doesn't do a lot of damage to monster, I have to say. So I wouldn't use this to wave clear. Then the passive of this. So it's what makes early game Pantheon really good. So if your enemies are below 50% health, you will crit them every single time. So when if imagine if you are against a champion that is really good when has ice sustain, but he's really low on health, you'll just kill him. Imagine a Mundo like popping his ulti, you probably kill him before he can sustain, because he's below 15% health, so it's really easy. And this also applies a crit on your Q. That's why you should, if they are you should E to remove a bunch of health and armor, then use your Q, that it will crit and make everything easy. Then we have his ultimate. He simply jumps and goes down, and it's kind of like a teleport, but you can really use it to go from lane to lane to roam. Because with Pantheon, as he has a lot of damage early game, you can actually move a lot around the map and continue snowballing your lane. This is you gonna be have to be smart and predict where they will go, so you can zone them. But it's a pretty good ability. Even you can usually actually use it even like a teleport. Like it's basically like a TF ultimate. This does some damage with skill with AP, but in maximum rank he does 500 damage in the center, so it's not something you can laugh about. But you mainly use this to roam, and that's pretty much Pantheon's kit. So now we'll see the build. So you can actually play Pantheon, as I said before, in the jungle. So you take the Hunter Talisman. I haven't tested this a lot because I really prefer solo lane Pantheon to highly snowball the game and basically make a champion useless. But you can play him in the jungle. I prefer top lane and mid lane. So I'll basically not cover the starting item of the jungle. Basically, it's talisman, but I'll not put it here. So as starting items for top lane, you can either go Adorn's Blade or a pot or the refillable potions. So refillable potions are really good because you have the mana, because you will be spamming a lot your Qs early game, and will not do massive damage, but will do a lot of damage either way. Um, it will sustain with the damage, and they'll give you health if you make some trades. The Dorn's Blade is, if you see, it's a really easy champion you can go against. Like, you know, they have no sustain, no shields, no nothing, and you just can brutally murder him, like, or have a shielder with a really high, cooldown. I can't say any champion like right now, but there must be a Rumble. I think I never matched against a Rumble. But I think it's a good champion can go with Doran's Blade because his shield is not only level 2 and you just wreck him level 1. So, I highly recommend refill potion either way. It's the safest and more efficient way. So, after you go back, should you go for a Dirk, so for the armor penetration, and basically go towards the common nowadays Korean 80 carry build. So you go for the Yomus and then Black Cleaver last Swiss because Pantheon is all about the high penetration to one shot the 80 carry. So you should. This is basically the core for laners. So Lucidity Boots, Yomus, Black Cleaver, and a Last Whisper based item. So as last items, I haven't put here the extras, but you have a lot of options. You can go for last week. You can go for the. You have two options. I like to go sometimes for Hydra because I like the wave clear. You can then go for Sarah Cage or Guardian Angel. There's a lot of options. Should just don't do any cooldown. If you want to do like a death dance, you can do it, but you have to change up the boots of Lucidity. So this was the core for lanes. Then we have the core for the jungle. It's pretty similar, but we have here it's like full damage because we can't really change a lot from this. So I like to go for the boots, the mercs, because we'll have 40% with CR with the rest of the items. Warrior for the high damage early game, cooldown. Then I go like to I actually like the Tiamat before I go for the full warrior enchantment because Pantheon doesn't have a really good wave clear speed, and with Tiamat you'll be a lot efficient. So you should do a Tiamat based item, so a Titanic Hydra or a Hydra. You can go either way. If you want the Titanic Hydra for the extra chunkiness, you can go with it, but I prefer the Hydra. Normal Hydra, more damage, lifesteal, always good. Actually, but lifesteal is not that valuable on Pantheon because you just want one shot people, really. But you can go with it. Then we have the Yomus and the Black Cleaver and the last two sprees item. Pretty much the same as the lane one, but we have the 100% Tiamat and 100% Warrior because we really need them, and the Merc Treads there. So jumping to the Masteries, I take a pre-offensive page because you really need it for Pantheon. So I go 18012. You can change a bit this page, so I'll walk you through all the options that you can take for Pantheon. So let's start with Ferocity. So I take Sorcery for the extra damage for the Q. Attack speed is kind of useless. Then I go feast because I like the sustain. You can go with double-edged sword, but you have as this double-edged sword, you take a little bit more damage. Then you have vampirism. You can go either vampirism. I sometimes go natural talent. Natural talent's more offensive because it gives you more D and AP. But I take vampirism because of the ice stand in it because I fuck up a lot. Then you have repressing bounty hunter. Bounty hunter is not that useful because you kind of have to kill all the team and not die. For like you have to kill every single member of the team to earn 5% of damage, extra damage, which is not worth because for the first 20 minutes you probably earn 2% of damage. This if you kill two of their champions. And it can't be like two kills on one champion. It has to be like one in the top laner and another in the jungler. So you'll have a lot of time where you just while you don't have your first kill, it will be really tough because you will not have the extra time. So oppressor, you just have to have a stun that will happen 90% of the time because Pantheon when he engages, he jumps with his W, so it's stun, and you deal 2.5% extra damage. And if your team roots him, you'll do that damage too. Then armor penetration, of course, non-magic penetration at all. Then we have Deathfire Touch that helps you with the burst. The only thing I don't like about this mastery is that the cooldown is not that visible. It's 4 seconds, but the cooldown is not visible like Thunderlord. Although Thunderlord take has a pretty huge. It's a 25 at level 1 second cooldown, so he has to be shown. But Deathfire Touch it has a cooldown which is 4 seconds, but it's not shown. But most of the time you can apply it, and the good thing is that it scales massively with AD, so 60% of your AD, and it does magic damage as a burn, so it's pretty awesome because just do a bunch of AD and you do magic damage either way, so it's pretty useful. Then for the cunning, you can go cunning or resolve, but I prefer resolve because I'm really greedy and I prefer the extra defense if I fuck up. So, uh, cunning options. You have Wonder and Savagery. I prefer Wonder because I don't really find useful the extra damage on minions because it's really like 3 damage. It's not really useful. Then the only choice you have here is Assassin because with a cookie you can go with the cookies if you know you're gonna use a longsword, but if you go with potions, the refill potion, just go with the assassin because you do 2 more damage for against your laner. Then within Merciless and Imitation, it's kind of preference. Merciless will do extra damage if they are below, which is really good for Pantheon. If you can get them low enough, your crits would just destroy him. And you have Meditation for the extra mana, for execute in lane. And between Bandit and Dangerous Game, 100% Dangerous Game. So then Resolve. You can go in Resolve. I like to go with the armor and magic resist bonus. Tough skin for the minion damage, so I can sink some minions. Veteran scars for the XL because Pantheon has no shields and no lifesteal built-in kit. And so the only thing you would really benefit would be the regeneration and lifesteal if you take vampirism in the ferocity tree. So it's not that useful, not that effective. I prefer the extra health because it makes your armor and magic resist count more, and in early games pretty useful. Then the extra cooldown on our abilities. Finally, let's jump to the runes. You should take a pretty offensive page, so armor penetration marks. If you don't have magic penetration marks, you should go for physical damage marks. Then the queens, you should go for physical damage queens. Armor, yellows, and glyphs or magic resist. If you have IP for that, you should go scaling magic resist because early magic resist is not that useful for most champions because even AP based champions don't have a lot of AP early game, so their magic damage will be pretty injectable. That is all for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.